All survey firms are now required to register before the Commission on Elections. Let's get some insights from poll watchdog Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting. Joining us via Zoom is PPCRV spokesperson Ana De Villa Singson. Good afternoon, Ms. Ana.
Hello, good afternoon, Maya, and to all the listeners of Billionaire.com.
So more than 2 months to go before the elections and the COMELEC comes up with this resolution. Do you agree poll surveys should be regulated to prevent influencing voters?
I understand this principle behind it. Okay, the principle is that sometimes you can be, the way you conduct the survey, yung pamamaraan ng pag-conduct the survey can be very misleading minsan kung hindi legitimately done. Like for example, I used to have research kasi before when I was in Globe, and one way to use surveys wrongly is your respondents, for example, kandidato ka and you choose respondents na supporters mo. So of course, all the results will be positive. So I understand the need to monitor the legitimate use of surveys because it can spread disinformation. It can also influence the decision of others. However, on the other hand, while I understand the principle behind it, I hope that it is implemented by the COMELEC in a way that does not impair our ability to get rightful and legitimately conducted survey informations naman. So I understand the need, but its application has to recognize that while there are those that are illegal, that could be illegal or unscrupulous, there are also some surveys which are very legitimately conducted with all the proper principles of research.
You mentioned, Anna, the illegal or unscrupulous surveys. So based on your monitoring, have there been fly-by-night surveys coming out?
Yes, there are some. There are many that will say according to survey and they don't name the names. Hindi nila sasabihin sino ba ang nagpa-conduct nagbayad at ng sponsor ng survey nito, and they don't explain sino ba ang nag-conduct ng survey. And even more, they don't explain the process. Yung process kasi importante. It is so easy if you are wrongly using survey tools. It's so easy to manipulate the answer of somebody by just by the way you ask the question and just by whom you ask the question of. So we see several of those, especially in the provinces. They're saying topping the survey, but pag titignan mo, wala naman source, walang process. So you question, the way you question anything nowadays, is it really legitimate? Is it believable? Is it credible?
And some camps do commission these surveys. Some parties do that. And do you believe they do sway voters?
The trending of, in fact, I was part of a panel yesterday of one of the more well-known research agencies, and that question came up. Can it cause trending? We have not seen any data so far from PPCRV to show that it can cause trending. Although sometimes, I'll be honest, there are some people, when they see that their candidate is very far down, they will say, sayang naman. Why will I vote pa for that person? Talo na naman, so I won't vote for that person na lang. Sayang my vote. Although we don't have anything in terms of formal research numbers, we hear that qualitative. So
Totoo yun, naririnig ko rin yun.
Yeah, because people lang have to be careful, no, about the way they look at the results.
So does the PPCRV believe surveys can predict election results?
So far, they have been predicting quite consistently, especially for since we turned automated, there is very good parallelism between the predictive results of what I call legitimate surveys done by groups who have been in the business for a long time and have gained credibility in conducting research. They usually predict in senatorials. We know that they usually predict very well between 1 to 8, and then when it comes to 9 to 12. That's where there's wider flexibility and when sometimes hindi pumapasok in terms of the research. But usually 1 to 7, 1 to 8, pretty much it plays within that area.
All right, let's go now to the campaigns of candidates. Any violations of election laws that the PPCRV has monitored so far?
Well, quite a bit, yeah. In terms of what we see, one of the rules of COMELEC is that you should remove all your campaign materials 3 days before the actual campaign period starts, which is supposed to be in February 11 for the national and March 28 for the local candidates. 3 days before the elections, we were looking around in several, just here in NCR, and hindi pa binabaklas. It's called Operation Baklas by COMELEC. Hindi
Pero
pa
marami
binabaklas.
pa rin, no?
Ang dami-dami pa rin because you're supposed to put it only in there's supposed to be a prescribed size, a prescribed place, pero maraming hindi nagfa-follow noon. And then we do a lot of travels nationwide, and of course we are a nationwide group. Ang dami pa rin dyan mga what you call the EPAL or EPAL, depending on how you pronounce it, na ang daming projects na kasulat doon brought to you by X candidate. And, you know, this utang, people tuloy think they have utang na loob to the candidate. And as part of our voters education, sinasabi mo namin, wala ho kayong utang na loob kung kanino man proyekto yun because that project ho, galing sa buwis nyo, galing sa taxes nyo. So, yung mga epal-epal na yan, nakaka-influence rin kasi alam nyo naman, malakas ang pagtanaw ng utang loob ng mga Filipino. But in this case, wala naman ho kayong utang loob kasi sa totoo lang, buwis nyo yan. Buwis ninyo ang nagpa-fund ng mga proyekto niyan.
Kailangan pa rin maliwanagan yung ating mga voters tungkol dyan. Kasi some people think, I mean, many people think parang hindi na mawawala yan, ano?
Especially the ayuda. In fact, one of the rules of COMELEC now, which is being questioned by the DSWD, is 10 days before election, so 10 days before May 12, hindi na pwede magbigay ng ayuda. Now, I understand where that comes from because hindi na rin ako nagsasabi at hindi na lang yung mga coordinators namin. Isang kandidato mismo nagsabi, yung mga ayuda na yan, pastado, they paste, naka-paste kasama ng ayuda yung pangalan ng kandidato. So akala ng mga tao galing sa kandidato ay hindi naman. So this it's a form of vote buying and vote selling na very predominant in our elections, and that's one of the yan siguro isang pinakamalaking paglalabag ng batas tuwing eleksyon, yung vote buying at vote selling. Masyado nung wholesale ngayon ang vote buying.
Tsaka nauso din yun, ano, yung nire-repack yung mga ayuda, yung mga donations, nakikita natin yan. Alright.
Literally na yung names, oo.
So let's go to the COMELEC's preparations. How would you assess the preparations for the upcoming midterm polls?
We have worked with so many different COMELEC groups and several different COMELEC leaderships. I have to say that there is a very strong attempt for transparency with this particular COMELEC, no? Ang dami lang pinapasok na measures for transparency, and one of those is yung election return. The election return is the printout, which is the summary of all the votes of one counting machine, no? Of one automated counting machine. Yung printout ngayon, magkakaroon ng QR code. Ano ang kabuluhan ng QR code na yon? Isa-scan nyo lang yung QR code na yon at pwede nyo nang makita lahat ng boto ng lahat ng votes ng lahat ng botante sa machine na yon, sa presintong yon. And they're going to post it. Ipapaskill ho yan sa bawat presinto. So anyone can actually conduct a parang random manual audit on the spot. So I think that's very transparent, and I laud the efforts of COMELEC for that. Now,
how is this coming along, Ana? Yung QR code na yan, makikita ba natin yan in every precinct?
Every precinct, every election return will have, kasi when the election closes, magpiprint out yung makina ng election return. Meron na sa baba ng QR code. That's the first time they're doing this. So it's transparent because each a copy will be posted in every precinct. So kunwari ikaw, regular mamamayan ka, and you want to see ano ba yung boto ng lahat ng tao sa dito, makikita. It's posted ho. Tapos another measure on transparency is noon ho, ang PPCRV, yung ibang mga social civic groups at saka yung political parties at media, connected ho sa transparency server ng COMELEC. Doon ho namin kinukuha yung datos namin. Yun po ang aming ina-analyze, no? At yung pinapakita sa publiko. Ngayon ho, hindi na kami nakakonekta sa transparency server. Direkto nang ipapadala sa amin mula sa mga ACMs, automated counting machines, worldwide. So, throughout the country. Noon kasi, ang pag magtra-transmit ng boto, pumapasok sa transparency server ng COMELEC. Tapos, doon namin kinukuha. Ngayon, dediretso na sa mga servers namin. Wala nang parang middle man. So, I think that's another at transparency.
Sana nga mag-work kasi in the past elections naman nakita natin may mga issues like technical difficulties, may mga brownout, meron ding malfunctioning machines. So, 'di ba, nagkakagulo rin sa mga presinto. Now, are there urgent concerns right now that you see that need to be addressed?
Well, urgent concerns, you know naman that na-invalidate ng COMELEC ang mga 6 million ballots, di ba? So, and at that time, medyo critical path na sila in terms of printing the ballots. But I think yung ginawa nila is nag-enable sila ng ibang mga printing machines para to make up for the lost time kasi 6 million were invalidated. They had to print another 6 million ballots. So far, according to their schedule, kaya naman ho raw. But I think ang binabantayan namin, anong mangyayari sa 6 million na na-invalidate, no? So we have to make sure na talagang hindi yun lumabas, hindi magamit for nefarious purposes or illegal purposes, at na masira siya because they're supposed to chemically dispose of those 6 million ballots. So binabantayan rin po namin yan ngayon.
Okay, before we let you go, what is the PPCRV doing now to help voters choose the right candidates in the May elections?
Thank you for asking that. Ang dami ho naming nasasaganap na voters education ngayon. Alam nyo, medyo malungkot, based sa survey, lumabas, and legitimate survey ho ito ha, based sa survey, lumabas na yung mga Pilipinos, alam naman ho natin yung issues. Filipinos, when we are asking them, ano bang gusto nyo sa kandidato, sasabihin nila, they like candidates who can provide more job opportunity, equal access to education, price protection against on basic goods. So they know the economic issues. But kung tatanungin nyo sa kanila, how do you vote? 50% of Filipinos will tell you that despite knowing the economic issues, they will vote based on personality. So ang sabi ho namin sa aming voters education, ang personality ho, hindi masosolve yung economic problems at yung mga hinahanap ninyo sa kandidato. Dapat ho, mga taong marunong mag-serve at sinasabi namin dapat warang Pilipino. At ang voter dapat maging warang Pilipino para mag-vote ng mabuti. In fact, in a survey, tinanong namin nationwide, ano ba ang warang voter at warang Pilipino? Ito ay voter na makajos, matapat, masipag, matulungin, magalang, makabayan. At dinagdag namin ho ang mapanuri. So, we are giving voters education all over, in schools, in parishes, in dioceses nationwide. At we give modules on that. And then we even give them a method by which they can in a discerning manner, choose their candidates based on the attributes that they think are important. So, importante lang ho, no? Wag naman ho, based on personality lang ang ating desisyon. Kasi ang personality, pag tignan mo, kung maganda, may personality na. Kung kilala, may personality na. Pero masasagot ba nila yung economic needs na alam naman natin lahat, no? So medyo nakakabag-abag ho yun na 54% of the Filipinos choose based on personality.
Okay, sana nga mag-research din ang ating mga botante, ano, alamin ang track record ng mga kandidato. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
That was PPCRV spokesperson Ana De Villa Singson.